few years ago, we looked at a bunch of very interesting wireless video transmission kits. I've used some of them myself in these sort of productions, but more and more lately, I'm seeing Hollyland in behind the scenes shots from proper, decent, big productions. So I've got to say, fair play to them. And I decided to accept something from them. It's been a while, so they're not going to see this beforehand. They've got no idea what I'm going to say. It's going to be honest as it always is. This is the Pyro H, receiving the feed from my S5 upstairs. I'm shooting myself with a T4, of course. That's not connected to anything. We can use the app as well, which we'll look at. I'm not sure what this is bringing to the party that the old gear does still works, so does. But yeah, now as far as shooting a line of sight 1,000 feet down the road, there'll be none of that nonsense, because frankly I don't think most production companies are interested in that, although it does show the strength of the signal. For me, this test that we're doing right now, the camera and the transmitter is upstairs. There's a couple of walls between us, and I'm still getting a solid signal. I even went outside and got a solid signal, but it wasn't that convenient to shoot this bit, so I've come back in to do it here. Yeah, we'll check out the app as well, because that's of a lot of interest to me. But first, let's see what's inside the box and see how the build quality is. I think Hollyland really packed their gear well. So it's instructions, packing list, etc. We've got an OTG USB-C adapter. This should be the cold shoe mount. So yeah, rotatable, if we can get it open sensibly. Branded, rotatable, all metal with a bit of padding. It's a quality bit of kit. I know it's only a cold shoe mount. That's interesting. Some nice little design features, and it's just a cold shoe mount. Well, there we go. What else? Let's just take these to one side for the moment, because in here we should have 5 antennae. Seem all right? Yeah. Decent quality there, happy with that. And they can all store in there actually, the units themselves. So kind of business as usual, nice solid feel to them. One transmitter, one receiver, all handily marked out, color coded with the old 4K there, just so you remember you can get a 4K 30p signal into them. Yeah, we've got a little screen there, little rocker dial on the side, on off, USB-C, so you can power it by USB-C or Sony battery. Very handy, I do like that. Nice solid mounting point there. DC, HDMI loop, HDMI in, release there. That's business as usual. Stickers come off. The screen protector. Put it back on just for the moment. Yeah, that's all right. Let's have a look at this, which should be a similar deal. DC there, HDMI there. Now it's worth noting, of course, 2.4G and 5G capability with this kit. There are screw-on points there too. This thing, of course, or this kit can be used for UVC streaming. Hook it up to the computer and you'll find in OBS. As with the TX, we've got the screen there, little rocker dial there, on, off, USB. Basically business as usual, but very nice and solid bit of kit. They've got smart channel scan, 400 meter line of sight range, and at best 60 milliseconds low latency. It's a pro feeling bit of kit. that's my first impression. All well packed as you'd expect. All the Hollyland gear we looked at in the past sort of followed the same ethos, and I haven't heard any complaints. These are now out in the field full time. I see them in a lot of BTS shots of big productions. I'm not talking like YouTube folk, but real big serious. So yeah, this looks like a solid addition to their lineup. This image is from a T4. The audio is from a S5, and we're screen recording my Asus Zenfone 6, my 5-year-old Android phone. Oh, that seems to have gone a bit funky. Right. I've had to go that way around because as soon as I hit record on my T4, which I was hoping to use without the S5, you know, get the sound, etc. As soon as I hit record, look what happens. We get a nice red frame on the app on the screen, but I can no longer access any of the functions that we want to look at. Now, if I press up on the side, as you heard and just saw, you can adjust the volume, and on the left hand side, the brightness. So that's fair enough. We're going to stop the T4 running now so we can look at the options, because that's kind of the point. Right, that is actually, it seems, saved to the folder. So actually, there we go. It's there. You can't see the overlay options. You can see what's coming through my HDMI from my T4 at the top there. So you can actually see whatever you've recorded with it, which includes, next to the media option, are a pair of scissors. So you can take a screenshot with it and, of course, access the screenshot from that media option there. Oh, actually, one other thing, let me just check. You cannot draw on top of it by the look of it. Thought you could make some notes. On the right hand side, you've got a tab button there, product info, device, Wi-Fi and current channel. Now, I was trying to connect to my Galaxy tablet and it just wouldn't do it. It wouldn't let me change the channel. So I changed to channel 1. That connected to my phone, fine. Still couldn't get it on my tablet. Not sure what's going on there. But in this section, you can change that stuff. You can also add the volume column onto the side there. Let's just take it off for now. We've got a lock function in the middle. So whenever you touch the screen, nothing will happen. So let's unlock that. At the bottom, you've got a little cog, which lets you change Luma and RGB in this case. But if I switch between the options, the scopes, histogram, etc., you can then have medium, small, and you can change the transparency as you wish. So that is pretty cool. That runs right across the options. Now, let's just take that off again. The options then, you can see I'm pressing it and it's a bit slow. Right, so we can move it around. My phone can handle RGB, which is pretty cool considering it's 5 years old. It can still do something. You can't adjust that on the fly. You have to, as we saw before, go into the cog and adjust it there. So, oops, there we go. You've got a horizontal switch there. It's not too bad. Small, and we've got a, so you can see the Luma. The Luma's there, and the RGB will prompt that little notification. So we've got the histogram there, which actually is quite low, but then the scene is that way. Let's check out the other scopes. There we go. And let's get rid of that. It fits my screen, but it's not always that responsive. We've got peaking there, and of course you can change the peaking colors as you so desire. There we go. So you'd probably want it a bit up like that. So quite handy. Let's get rid of that. And then zebras and layers. So you can add layers And over here we have, there we go. You can have your frame guidelines. Not bad. Let's just get that back to as it was. Wi-Fi strength at the top, just represented in bars, not a fat lot else. I have tried to get it onto my Mac as well. I can get the app on, but I can't get a connection. Can't get a connection on that tablet, but at least we're getting a connection on the phone. So yeah, Hollyview app. It's one of the features that I'm most interested in using a mobile device. So we're going to see what's going on with my other mobile devices to see if we can get them working, but at least this is doing a job. Very simple and a bit annoying that I can't hit record on my T4 and still change the options on here. Yeah, anybody know what's going on there? Let us know in the comments. Latency isn't bad at all. If you're desperate to get the stated best 6 milliseconds, I think that's how you say it, then you just need to use one device and make sure that's a battery powered monitor on the go. For most users though, the latency is excellent even with multiple connections. UVC Webcam Mode, you got to use the batteries to power it and of course connect the USB to connect the feed, but then as you can see it works pretty well on my MacBook M1, QuickTime, Zoom, OBS, all that good stuff. Now the kit can do trigger mode, broadcast mode, and other than the limited app, I'm pretty sure the app was actually better when we featured it before with the Mars kit, but anyway, all in all, a very decent pro level kit that should be very suitable working away in a filmmaker's video production setup. £440 is a decent price considering the practicality and longevity of the product. It's a step up from the kits we looked at in the past, as you'd expect. Switching bands, stronger signal, more connectivity, all features that make this a worthy buy.